Fact this. If you don't like the facts, take your ass back to bed. Fact this.
It's a fact. As many of you out there know, there's a man on planet Earth that every 4th of July eats around 70 hot dogs, buns, and all in 10 minutes. This is the man. Joining on the Fox Sports Cardinal Financial studio line is the number one competitive eater in the world, Joey Chestnut. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Doing well. Good to be on with you.
Oh, good to have you on, my friend. And I got to tell you, just starting off, and a lot of the questions, Joey, I know they're going to be redundant because you're asked a lot of the same things, and I've seen interviews, so I do apologize. But I imagine a lot of people in the audience that haven't heard you be interviewed in the past, this will be new to them. And first and foremost, I wanted to ask you, what is the wall for a competitive eater? I've always wondered that because people talk about the wall in running, and two walls. One, when you hit a wall where you just can't eat anymore, and one, what do you think the wall is for you when you say enough is enough?
Oh yeah. So the wall in eating, it's where you're pretty much pushing your body to its limit and or its comfort zone, where you're going to places you haven't been before. And going past that is really, really hard. You're especially with taking in food. It's that comfort zone where it's where your body's like, all right, I feel full, but then you have to tell yourself that no, I'm really not full. I have to push past that feeling of full and knowing that you have a little bit more capacity and convince your body that it's all right and push to a new limit. And for me, it took me a long time to convince my body it was all right to eat 70 hot dogs. I was hovering right about 68, 69 hot dogs, and then eventually I was like, all right, I can do 70 hot dogs, and then I'm hoping I can convince my body to finally take in and digest 75 pretty soon, hopefully next year. But it's right now it's really hard to make those gains. And as far as the absolute wall, I don't know exactly, but I know it's getting harder. And the only way to get me, if you really, I don't think I'll be able to get to 80 unless somebody's pushing me. So I think right now I'm pretty much, I'm not saying I'm tapped out, but it'll be really hard to get much more without somebody right on my butt.
I looked at the one word you said, and I watch you eating these hot dogs on the 4th of July. And by the way, congratulations. Your 12th mustard belt in 13 years is absolutely unprecedented in any sport, in any competitive. To win something like that is the most prestigious event, the Super Bowl of competitive eating. And, I mean, you look at what Tom Brady's done. And now I don't want to compare this to the National Football League, but the training of your body to do this is pretty incredible, what you have to do to prepare for this. But the one word I could never use watching you is comfort. You said in your comfort zone. I'm out of my comfort zone the minute you dip your first bun in water. My comfort zone's gone right out the window. So I give you all the credit in the world. I really do. Let me ask you something. Are hot dogs your favorite competition, or do you have another favorite thing that you would rather compete eating?
Oh, hot dogs are by far the biggest contest of the year, and it's easy. I love the food. I love the contest more than anything. Yeah, it's my favorite contest. It's on the 4th of July. It's a huge contest, and it's so easy for me to get motivated to eat. I get fan mail for that contest, and throughout the year, I meet people and they just tell me like what the contest means to them as they watch it on the 4th of July. So it's by far my favorite. But I love a lot of. Every year in Buffalo there's a huge chicken wing contest, and I've won that. I want to say 6 out of the last 7 years, and that's an awesome, fun event. And so there's contests all around the country that I love. Whether it's, I think in a couple weekends I'll be doing, 2 weeks I'll be doing little Japanese dumplings in LA, which is always fun. But I'm super lucky that I get to travel and eat, and I love to eat still. So it's there's a ton of contests I love.
A lot of competitors and athletes have, like origin stories as to how they fell in love with their competitive side. I mean, whether it's playing catch in the backyard with your dad, you found out you had a gift, or, going outside and running all the kids over because you're bigger, so you play football. For you, in a hot dog eating world, what was it for you that made you realize or made others around you realize that you had a talent, that there was something there with hot dog eating or eating in particular? Was it like your mom always coming in the fridge like, where's all the hot dogs? What's going on here? You're eating my house and home. Like, what was it for you that made you know, that made it real to you that, hey, I can do this. There's something special here. I can eat a lot of hot dogs.
It's kind of weird because, you talk to most athletes, or people who are super competitive, they knew really, really early that they were going to be competitive at that thing, or whether they were 5 years old, a little league, or something. But me, I was 21 when it really came together, and I guess all my life I had been a big eater, and everybody in my family knew it. But I was way too shy to ever get on stage on my own. And my little brother, he pretty much signed me up. He did sign me up to my first contest and forced me to go. The only reason why I went was because of the casino, and I was 21 years old, and they offered me a free hotel room. And so I did this lobster eating contest, and I was making a mess of the lobster. I was in like a weird. I was looking around the entire time, like a deer in headlights. It was so awkward eating in front of people, and but I tied for third in that first contest, and I knew that. I was like, oh my god, if I can just get over the shyness and figure out my body a little bit, I can dominate, and I was able to. And 2 weeks later, I did a deep fried asparagus eating contest in Stockton, and I had my mom and my little brother there. They were just yelling at me and made me comfortable, and I won that one, and it snowballed into this crazy thing. It wasn't my plan, really, like growing up. It just kind of happened, and then the goal happened. It was like, all right, I got to win the 4th of July contest, and took me like 2 years to do that, and I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be hard to take me down.
Man, I mean, watching you beat Kobayashi that first time, and knowing, I mean, the guy's like a national hero in his country, and you just messed up his whole life. I mean, you did. I'm kidding you. I'm totally teasing you.
I know, you were a little crazy.
It was pretty cool. But listen, I could ask you a million questions. I got so many things that I'd like to talk to you about. One of the things, you talk about being a big eater. Your family noticed it early, but there is a lot of big eaters and really big guys that are competitive eaters. And it's not so much being a big eater; it's more of being a big proficient eater. Is what I really think the competition is, and learning how, like you said, to train your body to be able to not only take in a great amount of food, but take in a great amount of food in a real quick amount of time. We are talking to Joey Chestnut, the #1 competitive eater in the world, a 12-time mustard belt winner. If you don't know what that is winning the most prestigious competitive eating contest in the world, Nathan's Coney Island contest that they have on the 4th of July every year. He's won it 12 of 13 tries, taking out the legendary Kobayashi that a lot of people said was the greatest competitive eater in the world. Now there's no question who is probably the greatest in history, Joey, and not being humble or modest, that's what you are, my friend. But I got to ask you, other than the questions, a couple of things real quick, and I got one important question to ask you, but do you hear the crowds when you're out there, when you're at Nathan's and you are pounding these hot dogs and you got 10 minutes? A lot of people in most sports, you don't hear them, kind of like Mechanism Off and For the Love of Game with Kevin Costner. But do you go through that as a competitive eater?
It's weird. Sometimes I'm hearing them a lot more than others, and I definitely hear them, and sometimes it really helps me. Sometimes sometimes when I hear them cheering, and I know I'm getting close to a record, and that they're pushing me to get close, I feel like it's helping me. Other times when I'm having a hard time, and I feel like, oh my god, it's like I wish I didn't hear them, because it's like this contest is lasting forever, and it's like, oh my god, I can hear them just getting when I'm losing. It feels like I can hear them suffering with me. But yeah, it's weird. The whole the crowd, I definitely hear them, and if things are going well, they respond, and it's almost like a chain reaction, and we help each other. They respond to me eating well, and I respond to them cheering like like crazy.
That's almost like watching in the zone. It really is. In 2018, he did break the record. 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes. The world record still standing today. And two more questions for you that I've got to ask. And this is probably the most redundant question in the history of Joey Chestnut, I'll bet. But do you like hot dogs? Like, do you actually eat them?
I love a hot dog. I love good.
When do you like having a hot dog? When's your favorite time?
Earlier in the interview, somebody said that it becomes not fun after the first dunked hot dog or dunked bun, and it took me a long time to convince my body to accept a wet hot dog bun. It was so against. I was so against it when I started doing it, and it took me forever to train my body to accept the hot dog bun, and it's no longer a bun to me when I dunk it. It's a sip of water that looks like a bun. It's just, and I'm lucky I'm eating good hot dogs, but those wet buns, it took forever to just convince my body that it was okay.
I got to tell you, I love hot dogs, but I boycott them for 2 weeks after. Every year I watch the contest on the 4th of July, and I can't eat a hot dog for 2 weeks afterwards because of looking at everyone's faces and the mush buns. And it's no, thank you. I got to turn them down for about 2 weeks. Joey, I got to ask you, honestly, how bitter or motivated were you when Matt Stoney beat you for your only loss in 12 titles, in 13 years for the mustard belt? And I mean, it was such a close race. I know you did come close to losing to Kobayashi early on in the only to this day tie that you ended up winning in a 5 hot dog eating contest tie. But when you lost to Stoney, did it just relight a fire under you, or were you not feeling good that day? What happened?
Oh my God, there were so many little things. It had been coming for a while. I mean, I wasn't bitter. I was happy. Weird thing is, Matt Stoney lives in San Jose, only a couple miles away from me, and we talk all the time. So it was a weird feeling because I was bummed out. I was really bummed out, but I was happy for him. And but it was a good little turning point for me that I had to refocus. It was I think I was 32 at the time, and my body was changing a little bit, and I had to get healthier. And I started running more, which sucked, but I had to do it. And to make my body work harder for those 10 minutes, I had to work harder and control my diet a lot better when I was off. And I was able to come back and hit numbers that I never did before. I'd been I'd been maxing out at 68 and 69 a couple years for 3 or 4 years, and so finally I came back and I was able to break the 70 mark, and 72 next year. It was it just kept going up, but I'd say it just remotivated me. It was to the point where all right, if I lose 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row, I might have to go back to get a real day job. And I really loved competitive eating. I wasn't ready to give it up.
Well, you become an icon in competitive eating, and I don't think a day job will ever happen for you at this point in time. I mean, with endorsements and what you've done alone has been nothing short of miraculous. Again, when you look at the championships, no matter what it is in, calling it the top of your field, Joey, this is the top of Mount Rush, the top of Mount Everest. I mean, you don't get any higher than this. He is Joey Chestnut, currently ranked first in the world and has been for a while by Major League Eating. Joey, are you going to go, 4 years in a row now, 70-plus hot dogs? Are you going for the record? Is there a goal in mind to say, man, I want to get to this number? Or are you satisfied right now? And if you decided, I don't know how to say to put it down, because, when you put down the hot dog, but when you decide to put it down, would you be satisfied if that happened right now?
I mean, if I had to, I'd be happy. But I know how competitive these new guys are, and if I'm really, I'm expecting them to be in the high 60s in the next couple of years, and I know I'm capable of hitting 75, 76. I've done that in practice multiple times. It's just a matter of getting my nerves under control and making sure my body works for me the day of the contest. And so I know what I would love to. I'd love to hit we get close to my personal best on the 4th of July. But yeah, it's competitive eating is so young still. I know that someday there's going to be a guy who's going to come out and probably just blow me away, and and they'll have to come back, and I'll try harder, but he'll come and knock me down again. And so it's nobody's going to be unbeatable forever, and I'm just trying to hold on as long as I can, and as long as I'm healthy, I'm going to be coming back.
Well, I'll tell you, the only way I see you getting beaten is modern technology. Someone's going to get a vacuum installed in their esophagus, and maybe that's the way they could beat Joey Chestnut. Come on, man. I don't see anyone beating that, but congratulations, and I wish you continued success. It is really cool to watch what you do and to stay at the top of your field for such a long period of time. And again, I started watching it years ago when Kobayashi was at the top of his hill, and I never thought I'd see that guy eclipse. So it's been a really fun run, Joey. I wish you years more of success and eating. And do us a favor, man. When you come to Vegas next time, I'll talk to Emily or yourself, but we got to get you in studio and bring you in here. We'd love to have you in studio and put you on our show and Facebook Live and all that stuff as well.
Oh, I'd love to come in, and I always love a good trip to Vegas. I can't wait for hockey season to start. You guys have a great team.
Yeah, we'll have to get you to well, you've been to a Golden Knights game already, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I've heard it's a great experience.
You got to let us know. My producer's sitting right in front of me. He's the locker room, the radio locker room reporter for the Vegas Golden Knights. So you let us know when we're coming down. I don't think it'd be a problem at all getting you up in the Golden Knights. They'd probably love to have you.
Oh my God! Yeah, you guys are awesome, and thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, that is Joey Chestnut, the #1 competitive eater in the world. 74 hot dogs last year, eclipsed 70 again this year. And when I say that, you got to put it in perspective. We're talking 10 minutes, Caleb.